Good morning and welcome to New Hanover County Schools, The Morning Show. I'm Rachel Glue.
And I'm Brooke Donnelly. This is the week of November 18th through November 23rd.
This week, our show is packed with personal finance tips used both to the young and old. We'll cover credit cards and have some great ideas on how to have fun without spending money.
Many of our segments this week are centered on education. We have a new edition, A-plus teachers. This week, we spotlight Roland Grice Teacher of the Year, Graham Elmore.
We also have a fun new edition of Math Fun 101. This week, we'll learn all about the Pythagorean theorem and how it can be used in everyday life.
As always, we have a great show ahead, but first, let's start with our first set of financial tips. We have a lot to share and hope you find them helpful. Our first set of tips concerns money management.
Small indulgences add up quickly. Spending $5 on lunch every weekday or $3 for coffee doesn't seem like a ton of money at first, but think about it in the big picture. That's $25 on lunch each week and $15 on coffee. Each year, that adds up to $1,300 on lunch and $780 on coffee.
Track your income and expenses. This will help you understand where you can improve. Are you spending too much on going out to eat or on entertainment? Tracking will show you where your money is going and where you can save.
Set up an automatic payment. This can help you pay your bills on time. Fees and fines are attached to late payments and can become an extra unneeded expense. In addition, automatic payments can help you avoid spending money you do not have.
Live within your means. Approximately 40% of families live 10% over their incomes. The sooner you learn to live within your means, the less debt you will acquire and the less you will overspend later.
And finally, create a financial plan or budget. Lay out specific financial goals and how you want to reach them. Plan your bills and budget in advance and be sure to include saving some money each month.
We hope you find these tips useful. Later in the show, we will feature a special edition of Money Smarts giving us tips on how to create a budget.
But for now, let's check in with our news anchor, Matt Friesland, who has this week's Your School News headlines. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Rachel and Brooke, and welcome to everyone to Your School News here on the morning show. Topping the headlines this week, Board of Education holds November meeting. New Hanover High holds first annual Diamond Dash and Catwalk Run, and Ashley High School's drama department presents The Tempest. I will have all those stories with you coming up later in the show.
Thanks, Matt. It's now time for our first segment of the day, This Week in History. Our Grand Master of Historical Knowledge has all the headlines from past times in This Week in History, which is brought to you by Kidsville News.
Welcome to This Week in History. I'm your historical host, Sarah Dorsey, covering all the colorful and amazing events that have left their mark on history's timeline. This is the week of November 18th through November 24th. November 18th, 1883, and exactly noon on this day, all American and Canadian railroads began using 4 continental time zones. This was started to end the mass confusion about the time of day for people riding across the country on railroads. November 19th, 1863, on this day, at the dedication of a military cemetery in Gettysburg, President Abraham Lincoln delivered his Gettysburg Address. The speech reminded people of why they were at war and why they must fight. The speech was one of the most famous speeches in America because it was a short speech yet was incredibly moving. November 20th, 1945, on this day, 24 high-ranking Nazis go on trial to Nuremberg, Germany, for atrocities committed during World War II. The Nuremberg trials were conducted by an international tribunal made up of representatives from the United States, the Soviet Union, France, and Great Britain. It was the first trial of its kind in history, and the defendants faced charges ranging from crimes against peace to crimes of war to crimes against humanity. November 21st, 1931, the University of Southern California surprises Notre Dame with a last-minute game-winning field goal at the new Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend. Notre Dame hadn't lost a game in over 3 years and had a 26-game winning streak. The victory won USC the national championship and was, according to that year Trojan's yearbook, the biggest upset since Mrs. O'Leary's cow knocked over that lantern. November 22, 1963, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, is assassinated while traveling through Dallas, Texas in an open-top convertible. Finally, your weekend history tidbits. November 23, 1876, William Marcy Boss Tweed, leader of New York City's corrupt Tammany Hall political organization during the 1860s and early 1870s, is delivered to authorities in New York City after his capture in Spain. Tweed became a powerful figure in Tammany Hall, New York City's democratic political machine, in the 1850s. By the mid-1860s, he had risen to the top position in the organization and formed the Tweed Ring, which openly brought votes, encouraged judicial corruption, extracted millions from city contracts, and dominated New York City politics. November 24, 1922, Robert Erskine Childers, a popular Irish author and member of the Irish Republican Army, is shot to death by an Irish Free State firing squad after being convicted of carrying a revolver. He had been one of the leaders of the Republican forces in the Irish Civil War that followed the partition of Ireland in 1921. That's This Week in History, your ultimate source for those key moments in time. I'm Sarah Dorsey. Thanks for stopping by.
This Week in History is brought to you by Kidsville News, a fun and effective learning resource for children, teachers, and parents. It features school news, information, and local community events, while promoting literacy and the development of good reading habits, character traits, and study skills in young children. And best of all, Kidsville News is always free. Copies are delivered every month to every elementary school in the new Hanover County school system.
And join us again next time for another journey through time as we explore the fun, fascinating, entertaining, and educational facts that make up This Week in History.
Now don't go away, we'll be right back.
John Steinbeck based most of his novels on the American experience. Steinbeck grew up in a California agricultural community where he learned firsthand the struggles of farm workers. The Grapes of Wrath, one of Steinbeck's most acclaimed novels, shed light on the experience of displaced farmers during the Great Depression. This background in literature has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools.
Pants. I am folding the pants. The pants are long. Do they go on my head? Do they? Do the pants go on my head? No. They go on.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Rachel Glue. Each month we are thrilled to spotlight individual schools' Teacher of the Year. In this segment entitled A+ Teachers, we take the time to get to know a little bit about teachers' background and get an understanding of their philosophy of teaching that earned them their school's honor of Teacher of the Year. This morning we feature Roland Grice Middle School's Teacher of the Year, Graham Elmore.
Coached the Little League team back home for a family friend and really enjoyed that aspect and found out about the Teaching Fellows program and looked into that and realized, hey, this is something that could be really awesome. Applied for the Teaching Fellows program, got into the program at UNCW, and realized that I enjoyed coaching because of the teaching aspect. So I didn't really want to go into physical education. I wanted to be able to be in my own classroom and kind of run the show and have kids. Like, you know, I have 140 kids now. I have all these kids. They're my kids, and I want to be in control of what they learn, not just in math, just in general. So I went to UNCW, went through the Watson School, and got me prepared, and was fortunate enough to have an internship here, which at Rolling Rice, which turned into a job. So I teach here and I actually coach baseball at New Hanover, so I get the best of both worlds. But you know, growing up, if you'd asked me was I going to be a teacher, I would have told you absolutely not. That was never in the focus. But I realized that I really enjoyed working with the kids. I really enjoyed helping people, and found this to be a natural fit. My philosophy for teaching is that the kids have to know that you care about them. The content and everything else will come if they know that you really, truly have their interest in the focus. If they don't think you're just here to teach, a lot of times you hear kids say, man, I wish my teacher really enjoyed being here at school. And I've had a couple of kids lucky enough to come and say, Mr. Elmore, that's the situation. We know you want to be here. We know you care. Because as soon as they realize that you're their priority, or they're your priority, that they're going to listen to what you have to say. They don't care one thing about what you got to say to them until they know that you care. It's just, and then everything else just kind of falls into place. Is what I've seen in the few years that I've been able to do this. I've found that I'll go through the internet and read some articles and stuff, but a lot of stuff I've picked up over the years just talking to colleagues. Glenn Cronin, who's one of the other math teachers here at Rolling Rice with me, and our math coach, Christy Cornegie, does a really nice job of feeding us information about doing things. The other thing I do is I have a lot of kids from UNCW that come in and do some observations and kind of, not student teaching, but they come in and teach some lessons, and I'll pick their brains. They do a cool activity. I ask them a little bit more about them because I'm not that far removed from being from UNCW, so I still have some of those relationships, and I get that, you know, kind of hearsay, and I hear something, I'm like, hey, let me try this and see if it works. And that's been pretty productive for me over the years, because there's so much stuff out there where you can go through and read and to decipher what works and what doesn't, because a lot of it's got to do with, you know, how I run things and would it mesh into the way I try to create, the environment I try to create. So just talking and collaborating, working with each other has been the best way for me to really pick up on the new stuff. I try to use it as often as I can, because most of the kids walk into a classroom and they come in with their iPads and their iPhones and all those other high-tech materials, and they step into a classroom and it's almost they got to slow down a little bit. In math, I do try to slow it down a little bit because I understand that they have to know how to do things without the use of the calculator. They need to be able to do it by hand, understand the process, and mix it in. I like to use the Apple TV. I think I'm the only teacher here at Rolling Rice that has one, so I can use it and project it. Instead of using the whiteboards where they get expo markers and write questions, I'll break out the iPads, and we can mirror it through the Apple TV so it projects up on my screen and everybody can see everything, and it gets everybody involved and they're fired up about it because it's technology. They all know how to use it. I have a document camera and an LED projector as well, so I have a lot, and I'm not scared to use it, and the kids like to use it. And I know there's some days that, you know, the technology is not going to be used that day, but if I know it's one of those lessons where it's a little bit it's kind of boring to them, they need a little bit more excitement, I'll add that in there because it doesn't take away from the learning piece that we're trying to push. Well, every year at Rolling Rice we do the teacher turkey drive, where the kids bring in money to put the teacher they want to see dress up like a turkey. Well, I made this challenge to the kids because typically the 6th grade at Rolling Rice always wins. The teachers of the 6th grade do a great job motivating the kids to come out and do. And my whole thought process was, you know, we want to make sure we're helping people. That's what I try to do every day. And I wanted the kids to buy into it because I was trying to push, because guys, you never know if you donate $1, it might be somebody sitting in your own classroom that it's going to help. Well, I made a challenge, and it just so happened that year that the Dougie was a big dance that was going on that year. And so I challenged the kids and said, hey, if you put me in the turkey costume, I'll do the Dougie, this, that, and the other. And I just had this thing on my board. It was like a contract, and I'd signed it, and like every day I would add to it just to kind of fire them up a little bit. And I think talking to our student council rep at the time, the goal was to raise like $300. And it worked out because my kids were pushing to get me so hard in the turkey costume. One of the 6th grade teachers, Coach Titzel, they wanted him, and Ms. Batley, the 7th grade teacher. So all the grades got fired up because the money was jacked. I think we raised a couple $1,000s or something like that, which ended up, you know, turning out to be a tremendous awesome thing. But I'm sure there's a video on some kid's phone somewhere of me dancing in a turkey costume. I mean, this is my 5th year. Had a lot of really good kids, a lot of really good support. I really enjoy being at Rolling Grice. There's nowhere else I'd rather want to be. It's been good.
A+ Teachers is brought to you by New Hanover County Schools Public Relations Department. The Public Relations Department publishes the monthly e-news Parent Update. The update is a monthly e-newsletter that reports on current points of interest within NHCS, highlights about new programs, updates on NHCS initiatives, latest advances in academics and instruction, system-wide events calendar, and more. You can subscribe to the e-update right off the school system's main webpage at www.nhcs.net.
We have so many great teachers here in the New Hanover County School System.
Yes, we do, and we'll feature more of these wonderful teachers each month here on the morning show.
All right, it's time now to swing over to the news desk with Matt Friesland, who is standing by with our first look at your school news. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, and welcome to Your School News on the Morning Show. I'm Matt Friesland. Our top story this week is the New Hanover County Board of Education's monthly meeting. We have the board notes for the meeting held on Tuesday, November 5th at the Dale K. Spencer Meeting Room on South 15th Street. Our very own E.J. McGoingle was on hand at the meeting and joins us with coverage and a complete rundown of the board notes.
This month's meeting of the Board of Education was light on new business but extremely heavy on a number of important issues confronting the school system. The meeting kicked off with recognitions of achievement. Sharon Cicero from Laney was recognized for her award as North Carolina Air Force Association's State Teacher of the Year, and Barbara Ussery from Castle Hayne was recognized as the Outstanding Elementary Mathematics Teacher of the Year. The information section of the meeting was the real meat of this November meeting. Deputy Superintendent Dr. Rick Holliday gave a presentation on curricular and co-curricular activities by the school system. The Human Resources Department presented an insightful report on the impact of the Affordable Care Act and its implications for the school system. Also from the Human Resources Department was an informational session on the state's new teacher tenure legislation. This new legislation will eliminate teacher tenure, moving teachers instead to 1-, 2-, or 4-year contracts, with only 25% of the school system's teaching staff eligible for a 4-year contract. The state's goal is to have this program in place by the 2017 to 2018 school year. Most board members expressed disbelief in the plan and outrage over the treatment of teachers.
This is very, very, as you said, so many unintentional consequences and so frustrating to the teachers. This is just not fair.
Other items in the information session included a presentation on a land lease agreement with the local soccer association to build playing fields at Murrayville Elementary and a budget development committee report. Under new business, the Board of Education approved the items to be placed on the surplus list and sold at auction. Also approved was the renewal of property insurance coverage with the North Carolina Public School Insurance Fund for 2013 to 2014. There was some debate over the Gifted Advisory Council Committee, approval of board members and changes to their bylaws. Both the Amplify contract and the Earthwalk Sole Source resolution were approved by the school board. However, the Presidential Youth Fitness Program Professional Development Sole Source resolution was tabled due to a lack of information regarding the true need of the expenditure. The Ames Staff Development Workshop Sole Source resolution, the 2014 to 2015 school calendars, and the Content Literacy Continuum contract were all approved by the board. New business was wrapped up with the approval of the nomination of Snipes Academy of Arts and Design for the North Carolina School Board Association's Award in Excellence in Architectural Design, Fee Schedule Committee Report, and Recommendation. Policy 7413 regarding report cards. The next regular Board of Education meeting will be Tuesday, December 3rd at 5:30 p.m. at the Board of Education Center, 1805 South 13th Street. As always, if you cannot attend the meeting in person, you can tune in for the rebroadcasts Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., Friday mornings at 8 a.m., and Sundays at 1 p.m. Board meetings can also be watched online at www.nhcs.net under the School Board tab. That's your board notes for November. Back to you.
New Hanover High School held a basketball fundraiser last week. Held on the school's campus, the first annual 5K Diamond Dash and Catwalk Run was directed by WECT weatherman Colin Hackman. Close to 100 runners and walkers participated in the first annual Diamond Dash, and another 100 spectators and volunteers were at the event. It was a great course that went through Carolina Place among the beautiful older Wilmington homes and trees. A few parents that have been involved in organizing 5Ks thought of the idea. They wanted something different and new as a fundraiser. The Diamond Dash was the 5K part of the event, while the Catwalk was the natural name for the 1 mile run walk. Participants of all ages were at the event, from preschools to alumni from the class of '55. Following the run, a post-race reception was held with food donated by local restaurants. Trophies were designed by kids making it, were awarded to the male winner, student Tristan Geaver, and the female winner that was a New Hanover High Spanish teacher, Jennifer Burdett. Browning Orthodontics was the lead sponsor for the event, and overall the run raised about $3,000, which will go towards New Hanover's basketball programs, helping to purchase uniforms, providing meals for the team, and paying entry fees for tournament play. The Tempest is considered to be Shakespeare's last play, performed in 1611 for King James I. Last weekend, Ashley High School's drama department presented this classic production on the main stage of the Minnie Evans Performing Arts Center. Beginning with a storm and a shipwreck, the Tempest unfolds on a magical, deserted island. We get this report on the production from Chase Fulton.
Written 400 years ago, The Tempest ranks among Shakespeare's wittiest and most magical comedies. But when the curtain rises on the Ashley High School production being staged this weekend, Prospero, the exiled Duke of Milan, unleashes a mighty storm that has tragic consequences.
The Tempest is an unusual play, but it's also very accessible. Being set on a deserted island, it's kind of placeless and timeless, and so you don't have to worry about, does it look like Verona, does it look like Denmark? I mean, it's an island. You can kind of do whatever you want with it, and it's not even that specific time-wise. It's got a lot of really fun fantasy elements to it.
The story of sibling rivalry, romance, and comedy, with more than a bit of magic and lots of redemption, The Tempest is one of Shakespeare's most loved plays. Full of contrasting themes, reality and illusion, freedom and domination, natural beauty and inhospitable terrain, revenge and the capacity to forgive. The production is giving the Ashley actors a chance to communicate complex ideas in a beautiful way.
I play the role of Miranda, who is Prospero's daughter. She has been on the island with him since she was 3 years old, and she is almost 15 at the time. She's sort of like your average teenage girl. She's a little more, she's rather innocent. She doesn't really know much about the world because she doesn't know anyone except for her father and her father's slave, Caliban.
Ashley's production emphasizes dramatic effect with lots of stage business. The role of the artist is explored through Prospero's use of his magic, and parallels can be drawn to Shakespeare's own sense of his artistry.
The biggest thing with Shakespeare is knowing what you're saying, knowing how to pronounce it, because it's like if you were doing an opera in Italian, you want to know what you're saying because you want to really show the emotions well enough so that the audience can know what you're saying.
Ashley's production of The Tempest is a delight. You'll wonder as you watch who has the upper hand in this brave new world, the native islanders or the educated voyagers. Reporting for your school news, this is Chase Fulton.
For all the latest on New Hanover County schools, join us weekdays from 5:30 p.m. here on Time Warner Cable Channel 5 and Charter Cable Channel 12 for your school news, a complete half hour of all the latest news and information from New Hanover County schools. Now back to our hosts.
Thanks, Matt. In addition to watching your school news and the morning show, you can see many of NHCS TV's programming online.
Just go to the school's website at www.nhcs.net and click on NHCS TV Video Library link under Items of Interest right there on the front page.
You can watch great programs there like the Sports Roundtable, the Forum, and Up Front with the Superintendent.
It's an excellent way to watch our programming whenever you want.
We now have some great financial tips about saving money. We already mentioned living within your means as one of our tips. A great advantage when you do that is you can save money.
How much should you save? Experts agree that you should save 10% of your income. This will put you ahead of the curve, and it's a great way to prepare for emergencies.
Another tip, buy things with cash, not credit. People spend about 15% more when they use credit cards to make purchases. Simply paying with cash is one way to cut back on spending.
Use coupons only on items you already plan to buy. If you buy an item because you have a coupon, you are spending more than you would be spending without the coupon.
And finally, save up to buy big items. Putting a big item on your credit card is far easier. However, saving up and buying it means you get to keep all the interest you would have shelled out to the credit card company.
And here's a tip for young people. It's never too early to start saving. The sooner you do, not only will you save more for a longer period of time, but it will also form a habit early on, and saving money will be easy.
There's a few tips to help you save money.
We'll have more financial tips later in the show, and we'll share some ideas on how to have fun without spending money.
Each month, we pause students on their thoughts from a host of questions. These questions range from local and national current events to topics that are just for fun. We feature their answers in a segment we call Student Voices. With the recent increase in gang violence in our area, groups from all across the region are meeting to discuss what can be done. This week, we asked students at Roland Grace Middle School, what do you think can be done to stop gang violence? And here's what they had to say.
You could add more cops at schools because gangs usually start at schools. You can give cops more rights to help them out, search people and stuff like that.
I think we should put up more surveillance cameras around town where gang members have been seen so we could stop the violence.
I think that we should make kids have more extracurricular activities so they can't get into trouble and they're doing a sport or something educational.
We can put more cameras in the school and to figure out who was being to join the gang, and we can fix them by after it.
We can put more surveillance cameras in areas where gangs have been spotted and make sports more extracurricular activities.
Thanks, Roland Grace. Rachel, what do you think can be done to stop gang violence?
I think maybe just raising awareness about it. I feel like if more kids were a little bit more informed about gang violence, they might make safer decisions. What about you?
I think that if they have more extra after-school activities, that people would have stuff to do.
Sounds like a good idea to me. Now don't go away. This rip-roaring edition of the morning show will continue right after this break. But before we go, we have our trivia question of the day. Today we have been focusing on finance, and our trivia question revolves around credit cards.
At some point, everyone is offered a credit card and almost everyone had one. Having a credit card is not necessarily a bad thing. Well, however, not managing your credit card, paying off your balances, and paying just the minimum payment can lead to financial ruin.
With all the credit cards out there, Americans have totaled quite a debt. Today, our trivia question asks, what is the average credit card debt per household in America? A, $3,270, B, $5,560, C, $7,070, or D, $10,110.
We'll have the answer when we return.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles. Everybody bring it in. I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out. How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork? I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are the #1 killer of children 1 through 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
My hopes right now are just to go out there and play the perfect show.
You have to make choices. We want to do this. We want this.
Welcome back to the morning show. Today we've been talking about personal finances, and a big part of that for many Americans includes a credit card.
Many Americans have a credit card before their first job, and managing credit card debt can be a real challenge.
Today, our trivia question focuses on credit card debt and asks, what is the average credit card debt per household in America? A, $3,270, B, $5,560, C, $7,070, or D, $10,110. And the correct answer is C. The average credit card debt per household is $7,070. This is the total credit card debt divided by every household in the country.
However, only 47% of American households are indebted. The average credit card debt for each of these households is $15,250.
The total credit card debt of everyone combined is $850 billion. It is the third largest source of household debt after mortgages and student loans.
Remember, credit cards can be useful and are almost required in some circumstances, but you must always be aware of the danger they also pose if not used correctly. Interest adds up quickly and can cripple your finances for years.
Try to keep little or no balance on your credit card. Every dollar you do not spend on a credit card interest is $1 more you can put towards bills or savings.
Our next segment is College Bound 411. College Bound 411 is dedicated to helping students achieve their dream of attending college. We provide practical and timely information for students so they can compete effectively for college admission. We also clue you in on the latest in scholarship information. So get off that pen and paper.
Welcome to this month's edition of College Bound 411. Each month here on College Bound 411, we offer you a list of a wide variety of scholarships in all categories. If you are planning on going to college, then it's time to start learning about scholarships. Scholarships are easy ways to help you pay for college. There are tons of different scholarships to apply for. With a little time and effort, every high school student can find scholarships that work for them. Our first scholarship of the day is the Reserve Officers Training Corps Scholarship. These are 4-year scholarships available to any high school student who plans to enroll in the Army, Air Force, Navy, or Marine ROTC at a post-secondary institution. Applicants must be 17 years old by June 30th and a U.S. citizen. Scholarship award amounts vary and can cover tuition and educational fees along with a book allowance. For more information, contact the Armed Service branch of your choice. For the Army, call 1-800-USA-ROTC. For the Air Force, visit www.afrotc.com. For Navy or Marine scholarships, call 1-800-662-7568. Another scholarship available is the Hugh Henry Fox UNCW Alumni Association Scholarship. Each year, the UNCW Alumni Association awards scholarships to incoming freshmen. For this scholarship, you must be an incoming or currently enrolled undergraduate or graduate student and have a minimum grade point average of 3.4 or higher. Applications for 2014-2015 will be available beginning November 1st and run through March 31st. To find out more information about other scholarships funded by the UNCW Alumni Association, visit uncw.edu/alumni, then click on the scholarships link. The last scholarship we feature is funded by the Golden Leaf Foundation. If you are a high school senior planning to attend any college in North Carolina, this may be the scholarship for you. The Golden Leaf Scholarship awards a total of $12,000. They fund $3,000 over the course of 4 years. The Golden Leaf Foundation also helps people who plan to attend community colleges. Students are awarded up to $750 per semester. This money can be used for tuition, fees, books, school supplies, and transportation. Visit their website at www.goldenleaf.org/scholarships.html. And now it's time for our College Bound Tips of the Month. Stay ahead of the game. Don't wait until senior year to start researching different colleges. Go to college fairs and visit the college homepages to find out more information. Visit different schools and take tours, or you can even take a virtual tour of some campuses online. It's better to be prepared and know about different colleges you're interested in, so that when it's time to choose which colleges you want to apply to, the choice is easy. That's College Bound 411 for this month, to help you plan, prepare, and pay for college. Check out www.cfnc.org. College Foundation of North Carolina is a free service of the state of North Carolina that helps students plan, apply, and pay for college. And don't forget, spending a little time and effort now preparing for college will help you greatly in the future.
If you're college bound, be sure to communicate with counselors and potential colleges to confirm specific dates for application deadlines, as well as course requirements.
All right, it's time now for this week's lunch menu. This is the menu for Monday, November 18th through Monday, November 25th.
On Monday, November 18th, have a fantastically good time at lunch and enjoy chicken fajita with cornbread or a corn dog. Stay healthy by piling on tasty northern beans, sweet potato casserole, garden salad, and a frozen fruit cup.
Then, on Tuesday, November 19th, be sure to enjoy oven-fried chicken or mouth-watering Salisbury steak with a biscuit. Choose from an assortment of sides including mashed potatoes, collard greens, garden salad, and fresh fruit.
On Wednesday, November 20th, awaken your taste buds with flavor-packed cheesy breadsticks or a spaghetti with breadstick. Also enjoy broccoli, garden salad, chilled peaches, and delicious fruit jello with a topping.
On Thursday, November 21st, visit your school's cafeteria for the Gobbler or go with nachos grande with cornbread. Along with those tasty treats, enjoy yummy sweet potato brulee, black bean and corn salad, and garden salad, fresh fruit, and spice cake for dessert.
Then, Friday, November 22nd, make your lunch fun with Philly cheesesteak or pizza bagel. Whichever you choose, be sure to enjoy the wonderful side items of sweet potato puffs, garden salad, and flavorful applesauce.
Finally, on Monday, November 25th, refuel your body and your soul with creamy chicken chowder or crackers and a roll on or exquisite French bread pizza. Along with those tasty treats, enjoy mixed vegetable, a garden salad, and mixed fruit.
And there you have the lunch menu for the week.
Don't forget, you can also start off your day with a healthy and hearty breakfast at school. Math Fun 101 is a brief yet very useful math lesson, produced in conjunction with and hosted by middle school math coaches and teachers. This segment takes a look at an everyday problem and how to solve it. The segment also gives us a little bit of information we can use to solve similar problems in our own lives. This week, Regina Connors, math teacher at Holly Shelter, explains the Pythagorean theorem to us.
Welcome to Math 101. I'm Regina Connors, and I'm the math teacher from Holly Shelter Middle School. We are going to be looking at a real-world problem today that will help us understand how we can use right triangles and Pythagorean theorem to help us with measurement. First, we're going to look at how Pythagorean theorem works. There are 3 different size squares in this picture. And when they are connected vertex to vertex as seen here, the interior forms a right triangle. It is a right triangle because of the 90-degree angle formed by the 2 legs A and B. We can see the universal marking that indicates it's a right angle. The side across from the 90-degree angle that is created by connecting the 2 legs is called the hypotenuse. That side is C. Pythagorean theorem states, given a right triangle, the sum of the legs squared equals the hypotenuse squared. So leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. So given this information, let's apply what we know now to a real life problem. And there's a construction worker, and he leans a 40-foot ladder up against the house to reach the peak of the house. The bottom of the ladder is 24 feet across from the bottom of the house. How high is the peak from the ground? So let's draw a picture of what's happening. The first thing we know is that there is a ladder that is 40 feet. The next thing that we know is that the bottom of the ladder is 24 feet from the bottom of the house. Well, here's the bottom of the house, and here's the bottom of the ladder, and that is 24 feet. The piece that we want to know is how high is the peak from the ground. And we look at that, and that is this side right here, and that's one of the legs. So the first thing I'm going to do is determine if we have a right triangle, and yes, we do. The right triangle occurs between the side of the house and the distance across the ground. Let's look at the side lengths that we know from the problem. Line segment BC is the hypotenuse in this picture, and the ladder in the problem, and it is 40 feet. So I've labeled that in my diagram. Line segment AC is one of the two legs, and it's the distance from the house to the base of the ladder. And it is 24 feet. We need line segment AB to get the height of the house from the ground. We have two of the three items we need for Pythagorean theorem. And we know we can use equations to solve for an unknown quantity. So we're going to refer back to Pythagorean theorem, and we know that leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. And we're going to substitute in what we know from our diagram. We know that one of the legs is 24, so I'm going to substitute 24 squared. I know that the other leg is my unknown, so I'm going to leave that as b squared. And the other number that we got and were given in this problem was the length of the ladder, and that is our hypotenuse, so that is 40 squared, and I substitute that into the equation. Now I have to begin to simplify in the process. So 24 squared is 576 plus b squared, which equals 40 squared, 40 times 40, which is 1600. Now I have an equation that I can solve because I have one unknown, and that unknown is b squared. In order to isolate b squared, I'm going to subtract 576 from each side of the equation. As a result, on the left side, I have b squared, and what we have on the right side is 1024. So we know b squared equals 1024, which would be the area of that imaginary square off of the leg. What we need is b. And remember, we can use a square root to find the side. So what we do is we take the square root of b squared, and we take the square root of 1024. The square root of b squared is b, and the square root of 1024 is 32. So the house from the ground to the peak is 32 feet. I hope our lesson today using the Pythagorean theorem has been helpful. For Math Fun 101, I'm Regina Connors. Thanks for joining me.
The Pythagorean theorem seems like such a simple equation, but yet it can be used in so many ways to find heights and distances, among other things.
It can be quite useful, and next month Miss Woodlock from Trask Middle School hosts Math Fun 101 to show us how algebra is used to solve everyday problems. So be sure and tune in.
I can't wait. Now, don't go away. The best morning show in New Hanover County continues right after this.
earn your GED diploma, the barriers in your life fall. Take the first step and get free GED information in your area at 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or yourged.org. Earn your GED diploma and begin your brighter future.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Rachel Glue. The mission of career technical education is to help empower students for effective participation in an international economy as world-class workers and citizens. They have a wide range of programs offered to both middle school and high school students. Today we take an in-depth look at one of these programs. We traveled to Ashley High School and talked with Miss Paige Haney about the Microsoft IT Academy.
The Microsoft IT Academy came to New Hanover County into North Carolina a few years ago. I think this is the third year we've been testing students in the Microsoft IT Academy. And what it is, it's two different classes. The first class is the Word and PowerPoint class. Students are able to take the Microsoft Office Specialist test and obtain industry standard certification. They also can have the opportunity to take the Excel and Access class and obtain the certification from the class. It's nice to be able for the students to be able to leave high school with credentials so that they can step into the workforce. At the beginning of the semester, students spend 9 weeks learning about Microsoft Word 2010. And what they do through this course of this class is they complete projects that teach the students the intricate programs within Word, such as adding tools and tables and formatting content so that the students can create attractive professional looking documents. Then they move on to PowerPoint, which we are actually just now getting ready to start. In the PowerPoint section, they learn not just how to put words into a slide, but to create interactive and animated PowerPoint. One of the best projects that the kids do in my class is that they tell a children's story. So what they do is they tell a children's story from another character's perspective, and they animate each one of the slides. After they complete our this class, they're able to go ahead and take the Excel and Access class, which are set up much the same way. The Excel class, the students learn how to create formulas and use the data. And Access, they focus primarily on creating forms, queries, and reports.
We did this one project with watermarks, which is a background image that you can blur out to make it, have you ever had like a document from another company that has something written in the background? We did a project like that where we took an image and then we made it into words, like we wrote over it and then colored it to look like the image. I thought that was pretty cool.
My favorite project would probably be the watermark project, where you can insert a picture and make the text color and then delete the picture, and your words and your text and the color make the picture. And it's really cool because you can actually pick your own picture and your colors and the text and everything, kind of make it unique in your own picture.
This year, well actually last year, North Carolina adopted the Microsoft Office approved curriculum. And it's a book, digital or online textbook that we can download, so the students, instead of having a physical textbook, it's all completely on the computer. Typically, teachers teach from the front of the room. They present information, students take notes, and then they're given a guided and an independent practice. Well, this semester, once I began and I realized we have such a variety of students in the class, levels of learning, the students really prefer to go through it on their own. So what I did is I provided the students with all of the materials. They go through the notes and the projects themselves, and then as the need arises, I come around and I help them. So they've all felt that was a much better way of learning. I think it's so different from the way that I learned when I was growing up. I learned by being shown something, kids now really prefer to learn it on their own. A lot of the counselors like to recommend the students to take this class as freshmen or sophomore early on because of the insurmountable amount of work that students have to do these days. With the senior projects, the students have to create MLA papers, they have to format them correctly, and they also have to create PowerPoints to do presentations for all of their classes. They have to do projects like brochures, and by taking my class, they have the opportunity to already know how to use the software and turn in above average work just because they know how to format it correctly.
I've never really had an online class, and it's pretty cool as I'm fairly good with computers, so it's nice to be able to do something I'm good at and learn a lot. I've actually learned a lot about the Microsoft Word 2010, how to use all the tabs and ribbons, and it's actually going to be pretty helpful later in my life for the career I want to go into.
At the beginning of the class, when kids come in, they think that this is just a computer class, or they think that it's people who aren't familiar with it, they think that this class is just a simple typing class, and it is absolutely not. I stress the importance that leaving high school with industry standard certifications gives them an ability to get jobs and differentiate them from their peers. It's very competitive to get into any college or any program or any job. So one of the things I tell them is that it differentiates yourself in today's competitive market, it broadens your employment opportunities, and Microsoft has lots of statistics that says 55% of hiring managers consider employee certifications first. They consider people with those certifications before they're ever able to hire somebody else. They say, look what you can do already, I don't have to train you. That's really important for kids to understand. And through the state of North Carolina, we are blessed with the opportunity to take the test for free. Each high school is has purchased a certain amount of licenses so the kids can have the opportunity to test for free.
If you would like to learn more about the Health Science Program or any of New Hanover County Schools CTE programs, visit the website www.nhc.net/workforce or call their office at 254-4241. Now let's swing over to the news desk for more Your School News with Matt Friesland.
Thank you, Brooke and Rachel, and welcome everyone to Your School News here on the Morning Show. The month of October ended big for the students of Murrayville Elementary School. All month, the school took an active approach to bullying prevention. To wrap things up, local musician and motorcycle stuntman Dane Britt came to the school to share his personal message to fight bullying together. We get this report from YSN reporter Johan Yellow.
Energy, excitement, and drum beats were bouncing off the walls at Murrayville Elementary when celebrity Dane Britt visited with music and a message for the students. The entire school crowded into the multi-purpose room to hear the locally born and raised Britt speak. The message of the day was to stomp out bullying. Britt told the students about his life and how he was bullied all the way through high school. He was forced to change schools, stuffed into a trash can, and had many other negative experiences. In an inspiring message, he told the students how he turned to music as an escape that led him to where he was today, playing music around the world.
A lot of the kids think that that I'm making up this story, but the story that I tell the kids is actually my story. I really had a lot of issues growing up with bullying and people being mean and things like that. I wasn't always the cool kid, so I know exactly where these kids are coming from. So I just wish there was, whenever I was growing up, that I had somebody that would have said it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Just go about it the right way, and eventually, when everybody grows up, things will level off.
After telling his story, Britt answered questions from the students. They took a great interest in how he handled bullying, and their questions allowed Britt to provide more details to his message. And then it was time for music. Britt took to the stage in his drum set, and the crowd went wild. After his performance, the Murrayville students had a surprise in store for Britt. They created stop bullying rhymes and asked Britt to create a beat to go with their rhymes. Each grade level chanted the rhymes to Britt's beat in an exciting anti-bullying rally. The message, The music and the rally really hit home with the Murrayville students.
I think it's amazing that Dan Britt is here because all of his drums were amazing, and I love that he's trying to motivate people to stop bullying, because when you get someone like that, everybody was just, gets, like more like courage to like stop it, and so I think that's great.
The visit by Britt was an excellent end to a month-long bullying awareness campaign at the school. The school plans to keep the fight against bullying going all year long. With visits like Britt's motivating and inspiring students, Murrayville hopes to stomp out bullying. Reporting for Your School News, this is Johan Yellow.
The scholarship committees from the district's high schools have made their recommendations for this year's seniors represent New Hanover County's schools in the very competitive process of becoming Moorhead Cain or Park Scholarship recipients. The Moorhead Cain Scholarship Program is one of the most prestigious university scholarship programs and includes 4 years of paid tuition at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, a laptop computer, and a 4-year summer enrichment program. Moorhead Cain recipients are chosen by merit and accomplishments based on the following criteria: leadership, academic achievement, moral force of character, and physical vigor. The Park Scholarship Program provides an outstanding educational opportunity for exceptionally talented and well-prepared young men and women to develop leadership skills and commitment to public service. The 4-year scholarship to North Carolina State University covers tuition and fees, rooms and board, books and supplies, and more. For a complete list of all the students nominated for these scholarships, go to the school system's website at www.nhcs.net. Moorhead Cain and Park Scholarship winners will be announced in March of 2014. Finally, students need to be healthy in body, mind, and spirit in order to learn successfully. The wellness centers in operation at 3 of the high schools are all about support for students to help them make the most of their education. The wellness centers provide care that includes health, mental health, and substance abuse counseling, parent support and linkages, student success team support, and community referrals. We get this report on school-based health for teens from Cassie Williamson.
Through a partnership with the school system and Wilmington Health Access for Teens, 3 wellness centers operate in New Hanover County schools, all offering prevention, education, early intervention, and screening to students and their families.
Well, we do a lot of sports physicals, health checks, immunizations, which provides, of course, preventative care. And then we treat common cold, strep throat, upper respiratory infections.
Care doesn't begin and end at the doors of the centers, but expands outward. The students using the What Wellness Center become connected to the essential preventive and primary care services, programs, and other school-based opportunities that create a healthy life at school and at home. The centers are open every day at school from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and are staffed by a multidisciplinary team of providers that include a family nurse practitioner, licensed clinical social worker, part-time registered dietitian, and a certified nursing or medical assistant.
Primary care, nutritional, and mental health services are all available to everyone, each patient that comes in. We really kind of look at it as a holistic approach. So even if somebody enters in on the primary care side, we're still doing screenings for any type of psychosocial concerns that may be there, substance use, things of that nature, and vice versa. Even if a client comes in for nutrition or mental health, our holistic approach is if there's a medical concern noted there, they're referred to the primary care side. So really, no matter what point of entry they come into, whether it's primary care, mental health, or nutrition, our goal is to be kind of screening and looking at all of those services and making sure we're making appropriate referrals across the board.
Last year, the centers provided on-site services to 242 students at Ashley High School and to 248 students at New Hanover High School. Studies have found direct links between school-based health center use and learning readiness. Users had a 50% decrease in absenteeism and a 25% decrease in tardiness 2 months after receiving a school-based mental health and counseling. What Wellness Centers encourage parental participation and partnership in supporting the health and well-being of students. The centers make every effort to promote a family-centered approach to the students' care.
You have to have parent consent to access the services at the Wellness Center. We do not see a student without parent consent.
Although partnered with the school system, Wellness Center services are not free. Centers do rely on reimbursements for services from commercial insurers and government programs. Wellness Center accepts private insurance as well as Medicaid and NC Health Choice. If a student does not have health insurance, financial assistance counseling is available, and no student is denied services.
But what we do is if a student is unable to pay at that time, or a family is experiencing some financial problems or challenges, we have what we call a sliding fee scale. And we also have a partnership with the Department of Social Services here in New Hanover County, and have a caseworker embedded in our organization that helps with applications and enrollment and all those types of things to connect families to financial resources that increase access to health care.
New Hanover County Schools is fortunate to have such an outstanding partnership working each day to provide services for the optimal health of our teens. Reporting for Your School News, this is Cassie Williamson.
That's all for now. Let's head back over to our hosts, Rachel and Brooke, for more on the morning show.
Thanks, Matt.
Normally at this point in the show, we'll have a new edition of The List with Jamie Stauffer. However, since this show is about finance, we have something special.
Jamie joins us with some excellent ideas on how to have fun without spending money. Welcome, Jamie.
Hello, everyone. It's easy to spend a lot of money on a night out or for an entertaining activity. These days, the price of 2 movie tickets with snacks can break the bank. What many of you may not know is that there is still a lot of ways to have fun without spending money. The first thing you should do is look at community resources. There are all types of fun activities for you to partake in. Here are just a few community resources you should look into. Think you have to drive out of town to catch a concert? Think again. From the beaches to Mayfair to downtown, Wilmington is packed with great local and visiting musicians performing free or low-cost concerts. Our area is also host to countless festivals no matter what season it is. From cultural fairs to food and drink, most weeks you can find a free family fun festival. The Cape Fear area is also blessed with many museums and galleries. Along with all the big galleries you probably heard of, take time to visit some of the smaller local galleries around town. Many of them are low cost and free. In addition, all the big galleries have free days throughout the year. Another great resource in our area are the local parks and jogging trails. Along with the many activities at each park in town, you can have great fun learning to rollerblade or ride a bike. You can also be a tourist in your own town. New Hanover has dozens of wonderful tourist attractions, and just because you live here, it doesn't mean you should miss out. Try going in the off-season if you want to avoid crowds. Also, keep in mind, like the museums and galleries, many of these attractions offer free days. Other community resources to tap into include community swimming pools, community centers, exercise classes. To find all the local events and happenings, there are many magazines giving free copies at grocery stores, or you can check event calendars online by Googling Wilmington, North Carolina events. You can also have fun in your own backyard. Gather your friends and family and enjoy one of these entertaining activities. A meaningful trip can be a leisurely walk around the neighborhood. Look for things in nature, like playing squirrels, unique lawn objects, or shapes within the clouds. Turn your backyard into a campground. Invite friends over, create a fire, and enjoy s'mores as you sleep under the stars without leaving home. On rainy days, sit around telling stories and catching up while you play board and card games. If you want something new, try changing the rules and being creative, as you can reimagine your favorite games. And if you're looking for a cheap way to find games, search thrift stores and yard sales, which is also another fun and free activity. One fun activity that is always good, plan a movie night. Invite several friends over and make it an experience. Dim the lights, pop some popcorn, indulge in nachos or whatever your favorite movie theater treat is, and have fun. These days, you don't even have to leave your home to rent a movie. You could do it online or through your cable box. The local library also has a vast movie collection which is free to check out. And that brings us to our last resource, your local library. Along with all these movies, the library has music, computers, and many great materials for you to browse through and check out, not to mention all the books. Be sure to stop in the next time you're looking for something to do. The next time you're looking for something fun to do, try one of these ideas and you might be surprised how satisfying they are. Having fun usually isn't about things, but the people you're with. So enjoy the company of your friends and family while you save money at the same time. I'm Jamie Stauffer. Now back to our hosts.
Thanks, Jamie. Those are some great ideas.
I never thought about being a tourist in my own town. That sounds like fun.
I like the idea of free movie rentals at the library. I've heard they have a big collection of movies. I'll have to go check it out.
Me too. For now, here's a little music for your morning. This is Great Moments in Music. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Attention, please. Would the owner of the spare tire, slightly hairy, with a little brown mole to the left of the belly button, it's an innie. Please report to the press box and retrieve your appendage. Oh, they must have lost this parking further away from the stadium and walking in. Okay, we're back to the action.
Takeout meals for just $12.99. Call now.
Sherry Pearson. You are the sole surviving heir of the King of Montanopolis, and you are now worth $45 million.
I'm rich! This can't be real.
Of course it's not real. Come on. Having money isn't about luck. Like that takeout meal. Cook at home instead, you can save thousands a year. Feed me.
Feed the pig.
Who was president? The years 1929 to 1933. He was the first president born west of the Mississippi River. He was blamed for the Great Depression. He began large public works programs and the Reconstruction Finance Corporation. If you guessed Herbert C. Hoover, you're right. He was the 31st president of the United States. This presidential pop quiz has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools on the Learning Network.
Welcome back to the Morning Show. I'm Ryan Spurney. An exciting new addition to our morning show lineup this year is America's Wildest Places. Each month we take a visual and audio tour of one of America's national wildlife refuges, brought to you by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. You'll learn about the plants and animals at each one, as well as what the different seasons of the year brings. Enjoy the sights and sounds of America's Wildest Places.
At last, away from the hustle and bustle of urban life. Yes, there are times when our community may seem as crowded and busy as your own. But take a stroll along our tree-shaded streets. Meet our movers and shakers. Listen to our choir. Visit our favorite watering holes and our town square, and you'll see that there's a world of difference here. Welcome to Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge, a unique place to experience nature. From the start, Crab Orchard has been different from every other refuge in the system. Although wildlife conservation is its central mission, The refuge is also required to provide land for industry, agriculture, and recreation. Farmers still work some of the land. However, the human activities are not allowed to impact the wildlife, and in many cases are beneficial. Crops on the 5,000 acres of farmland are only partially harvested. The rest is left for Canada geese and other wildlife to eat during the winter. Another 2,000 acres are used for cattle grazing, but the cattle are removed in October to make way for the arriving geese. The refuge also has some unique opportunities for outdoor recreation, helping to make it the 5th most visited refuge in the system. However, most of our more than 1 million visitors come to enjoy our flora and fauna, and there's plenty to see in every season. Along our hiking trails and wildlife drives, visitors can encounter over 500 species of plants, 43 mammal species, 50 species of reptiles and amphibians, and our pride and joy, 269 species of birds. As spring appears on the refuge, the overwintering birds head north to their breeding grounds. They make way for other migrant flocks, which stop over at Crab Orchard to rest and feed on their way north. Thousands of mallards, widgeon, scaup, mergansers, and other ducks can be seen during this spring migration. Some birds stay here year-round, including the colorful wood ducks, which nest in man-made boxes along the creeks and lake shorelines. 2 pairs of bald eagles also nest here in the wilderness area. As the weather warms, the refuge's mammal population becomes more visible. Beaver and the effects of their work can be seen along the shorelines. The damage they do to the trees is offset by the excellent waterfowl habitat they create. Raccoon, coyote, and white-tailed deer are also common on the refuge. The highlight of spring at Crab Orchard is its glorious wildflower display. The flowering species bloom in succession from late February until the end of summer. But April is the peak month for nature's finery. Whether you are a frequent visitor here or a first-timer, Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge has much to offer you. We hope you enjoy your time in our unusual community, where human activity and wildlife exist together in harmony.
It's time to swing over to the news desk with another look at your school news with Matt Friesland. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning and welcome to Your School News on the Morning Show. I'm Matt Friesland. Our top story this week is the New Hanover County Board of Education's monthly meeting. We have the board notes for the meeting held on Tuesday, November 5th at the Dale K. Spencer Meeting Room on South 15th Street. Our very own E.J. McGoingle was on hand at the meeting and joins us with coverage and a complete rundown of the board notes.
This month's meeting of the Board of Education was light on new business but extremely heavy on a number of important issues confronting the school system. The meeting kicked off with recognitions of achievement. Sharon Cicero from Laney was recognized for her award as North Carolina Air Force Association's State Teacher of the Year, and Barbara Ussery from Castle Hayne was recognized as the Outstanding Elementary Mathematics Teacher of the Year. The information section of the meeting was the real meat of this November meeting. Deputy Superintendent Dr. Rick Holliday gave a presentation on curricular and co-curricular activities by the school system. The Human Resources Department presented an insightful report on the impact of the Affordable Care Act and its implications for the school system. Also from the Human Resources Department was an informational session on the state's new teacher tenure legislation. This new legislation will eliminate teacher tenure, moving teachers instead to 1-, 2-, or 4-year contracts, with only 25% of the school system's teaching staff eligible for a 4-year contract. The state's goal is to have this program in place by the 2017 to 2018 school year. Most board members expressed disbelief in the plan and outrage over the treatment of teachers.
This is very, very, as you said, so many unintentional consequences and so frustrating to the teachers. This is just not fair.
Other items in the information session included a presentation on a land lease agreement with the local soccer association to build playing fields at Murrayville Elementary and a budget development committee report. Under new business, the Board of Education approved the items to be placed on the surplus list and sold at auction. Also approved was the renewal of property insurance coverage with the North Carolina Public School Insurance Fund for 2013 to 2014. There was some debate over the Gifted Advisory Council Committee, approval of board members and changes to their bylaws. Both the Amplify contract and the Earthwalk Sole Source resolution were approved by the school board. However, the Presidential Youth Fitness Program Professional Development Sole Source resolution was tabled due to a lack of information regarding the true need of the expenditure. The Ames Staff Development Workshop Sole Source resolution, the 2014 to 2015 school calendars, and the Content Literacy Continuum contract were all approved by the board. New business was wrapped up with the approval of the nomination of Snipes Academy of Arts and Design for the North Carolina School Board Association's Award in Excellence in Architectural Design, Fee Schedule Committee Report, and Recommendation. Policy 7413 regarding report cards. The next regular Board of Education meeting will be Tuesday, December 3rd at 5:30 p.m. at the Board of Education Center, 1805 South 13th Street. As always, if you cannot attend the meeting in person, you can tune in for the rebroadcasts Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., Friday mornings at 8 a.m., and Sundays at 1 p.m. Board meetings can also be watched online at www.nhcs.net under the School Board tab. That's your board notes for November. Back to you.
New Hanover High School held a basketball fundraiser last week. Held on the school's campus, the first annual 5K Diamond Dash and Catwalk Run was directed by WECT weatherman Colin Hackman. Close to 100 runners and walkers participated in the first annual Diamond Dash, and another 100 spectators and volunteers were at the event. It was a great course that went through Carolina Place among the beautiful older Wilmington homes and trees. A few parents that have been involved in organizing 5Ks thought of the idea. They wanted something different and new as a fundraiser. The Diamond Dash was the 5K part of the event, while the Catwalk was the natural name for the 1 mile run walk. Participants of all ages were at the event, from preschools to alumni from the class of 55. Following the run, a post-race reception was held with food donated by local restaurants. Trophies were designed by kids making it, were awarded to the male winner, student Tristan Geaver, and the female winner that was a New Hanover High Spanish teacher, Jennifer Burdett. Browning Orthodontics was the lead sponsor for the event, and overall the run raised about $3,000, which will go towards New Hanover's basketball programs, helping to purchase uniforms, providing meals for the team, and paying entry fees for tournament play. The Tempest is considered to be Shakespeare's last play, performed in 1611 for King James I. Last weekend, Ashley High School's drama department presented this classic production on the main stage of the Minnie Evans Performing Arts Center. Beginning with a storm and a shipwreck, The Tempest unfolds on a magical, deserted island. We get this report on the production from Chase Fulton.
Written 400 years ago, The Tempest ranks among Shakespeare's wittiest and most magical comedies. But when the curtain rises on the Ashley High School production being staged this weekend, Prospero, the exiled Duke of Milan, unleashes a mighty storm that has tragic consequences.
The Tempest is an unusual play, but it's also very accessible. Being set on a deserted island, it's kind of placeless and timeless, and so you don't have to worry about, does it look like Verona, does it look like Denmark? I mean, it's an island. You can kind of do whatever you want with it, and it's not even that specific time-wise. It's got a lot of really fun fantasy elements to it.
The story of sibling rivalry, romance, and comedy, with more than a bit of magic and lots of redemption, The Tempest is one of Shakespeare's most loved plays. Full of contrasting themes, reality and illusion, freedom and domination, natural beauty, and inhospitable terrain, revenge, and the capacity to forgive. The production is giving the Ashley actors a chance to communicate complex ideas in a beautiful way.
I play the role of Miranda, who is Prospero's daughter. She has been on the island with him since she was 3 years old, and she is almost 15 at the time. She's sort of like your average teenage girl. She's a little more, she's rather innocent. She doesn't really know much about the world because she doesn't know anyone except for her father and her father's slave, Caliban.
Ashley's production emphasizes dramatic effect with lots of stage business. The role of the artist is explored through Prospero's use of his magic, and parallels can be drawn to Shakespeare's own sense of his artistry.
The biggest thing with Shakespeare is knowing what you're saying, knowing how to pronounce it, because it's like if you were doing an opera in Italian, you want to know what you're saying because you want to really show the emotions well enough so that the audience can know what you're saying.
Ashley's production of The Tempest is a delight. You'll wonder as you watch who has the upper hand in this brave new world, the native islanders or the educated voyagers. Reporting for your school news, this is Chase Fulton.
For all the latest on New Hanover County schools, join us weekdays from 5:30 p.m. here on Time Warner Cable Channel 5 and Charter Cable Channel 12 for your school news, a complete half hour of all the latest news and information from New Hanover County schools. Now back to our hosts.
The morning show will continue right after this break. Remember, you can be a part of everything on New Hanover County Schools TV by becoming our friend on Facebook.
We'll be right back.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at ready.gov.
Where's my husband? Where's my
Driver
husband?
in a stop.
How's she doing? 2,
She was the passenger. Car was T-boned on the passenger side.
We just had some wine. I wasn't even drunk, I was just buzzed.
What? You were just buzzed? Well, sir, you didn't tell us that. In that case, she's just fine.
Yeah. I'm fine.
Really?
Nah, not really.
Buzz driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Rachel Glue.
And I'm Brooke Donnelly.
There are so many tips and ideas on how to save money, but step one should always be to create a budget.
Budgets tell you how much you have to spend, where you need to spend it, and can be used to track your spending.
Creating a budget does not have to be hard or complicated. To get you started, we have a special segment of Money Smarts.
Here is Massey Performance Learning Center Business Education teacher Robert Smith to talk to us about budgeting.
Budgeting is one of the most important things you can do for yourself. For many people, the word budget has a negative connotation, but you should try to think of it as a means for financial success instead of financial handcuffs. No matter how much you make a year, budgeting helps you control your money and keeps it from controlling you. The first step is to figure out what you usually spend a lot of money on. Even if you think you know where all your cash is going, you would probably be surprised by how much of your money is going to small expenditures each month. For example, in 1 year, your daily cup of coffee could add up to $550. Your 5-day-a-week lunch takeout could add up to $2,600. If you're a smoker, your 2 packs of cigarettes a day can add up to over $3,200. With these 3 seemingly small daily purchases, you have suddenly spent over $6,300 that you could have been saving or investing to earn interest. Creating a budget doesn't have to be difficult. You can choose to do it by hand or use one of the many types of financial software available online or through your bank. These computer programs can make budgeting a lot easier by making graphs and reports less of a hassle. Many banks even offer personal finance software for free. You can do a basic comparison of budget versus expenses by category or enter more detailed information like assets, liabilities, and investments. Whether you choose to use online software or old school paper and pencil, the most important thing is that you plan your financial future by budgeting. For Money Smarts, I'm Richard Smith, business teacher at Mosley Performance Learning Center.
As we draw the show to a close, we have some final personal financial tips that may help you with your wallet.
Check for employee discounts. Many employers partner with local businesses for discounts on everything from gyms to buying a new computer.
Your tax return isn't free money. If you get one, a tax return isn't a financial boon meant to be spent frivolously. It is simply your money that the government is returning to you. Spend it as wisely as you would a paycheck.
It is never too early to start planning for retirement. The sooner you start saving, the more money and financial security you'll have down the road.
There is no shame in asking for help. You do not have to go through your financial journey alone. Ask your parents or a relative for advice. Talk with a friend, or if you need to speak with a financial planner. Help is out there.
And finally, learn from your mistakes. You will make some financial mistakes. These mistakes won't kill you, but they should teach you some lessons that stick with you for life.
That does it for this edition of The Morning Show. We hope this show has made you a little smarter with your money.
For the best TV of all, each and every day, keep it tuned right here for New Hanover County Schools TV on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear. Have a great day.
And a wonderful week.